and I said, there is no amount of money that you could pay me to but if I had done it and done it well, I could have progressed to a horse, you know. How?
I love how off topic you go. It's just gold.
I'd actually kind of relate to that. I had a guy,
Sorry?
yeah.
Hey, I'm Eva Oh, and I currently work as a dominatrix. I used to be an escort in brothels, in massage parlors, and I've been doing all of this for over 10 years now.
My name's Danny D. I'm an adult performer. I've been working in the industry since I was 18. I'm 33 now, so 35 now, so yeah, enjoying the adult industry.
Hi, I'm Caroline B. I'm 70 now, and I'm an escort. I've been doing it since 2017. Absolutely love it. I wish I'd started it sooner, actually.
Belle Olivia, I do OnlyFans. I basically started the day I turned 18, and I just kind of do like amateur content.
I'm Mercedes. I started working as a stripper in 2021, and now I'm 22 and I started OnlyFans, so yeah.
Cool. My name's Karamal Baba. I started OnlyFans about a year ago, and I'm gay. So, yeah.
Shall we start with me saying the statements and just getting you to kind of chat about it? Most sex workers lie or don't tell their friends and family about what they do.
I didn't tell my family for about 7 years, and around the point where I thought I was going to tell them, I prepped myself for being disowned. But luckily, my mother, who's the most important to me, took about a month to let it settle, and then she came back to me with questions like, what are the client's motivations? What does that interaction look like? Like, what is your motivation? She really wanted to understand it, so I think I really underestimated her. When I first started, I didn't tell anybody when I met them. Now I just tell people from the get-go, just like, get it out of the way. And then usually it's this huge load of questions about the job. You know, they're fascinated by it more than anything else these days. Do most people not tell the people in their lives? I find that that can be the case when you're first starting out, for sure, because there's still a lot of stigma around it, even if it's decriminalized in certain places. But hopefully that shifts.
Well, I think it's the same with the swinging, which is where I first started, is that my family found out by seeing things online. To this day, I still do not know how much they know. But whatever it is, they don't approve, obviously, you know. So that was the family, so we haven't spoken since, which is fine by me. My friends, I have a small group of friends who I have told, and they fully support me, and they love me, and they get excited with me telling them the stories, you know, whatever.
I feel like it just takes educating people, because my parents didn't know about what I did, and they have so many, because of the stigma and what they think it's like, they have so many misconceptions and preconceptions about what it's going to be. But if you inform them like over time and not just dump it on them, because I had a very like specific plan. I informed my parents for like a whole year, and I drip fed them info. And it's just like the ignorance that they have about it that makes them scared and makes them think, oh, that's a really dangerous thing, like how naughty, you shouldn't be doing that. But now that they actually know the ins and outs and I've educated them on it, they're bloody fine with it. And they're Catholic doctors, like they're strict.
My mother's a Bible school teacher.
Is she? It just takes like telling them the ins and outs, like I am safe, it's okay, this is how it works. And then there'll be more understanding. I know some people you can't change, but like it just takes some education, because they just don't know.
When I first started, I was like still in my last year of school, because in Ireland we only leave school at like 18. So I was 18, and like this is a proper Christian school. Like, but I didn't want to waste any time. I just wanted to get cracking on it. Like I've been waiting ages to start one. So, and all my friends, like I'd hear people talking about like OnlyFans and how they didn't approve of it, and I was just like, here with my secret account, I was like, oh shit, like it's gonna be so awkward when people find out. And I wasn't telling my mum or any of that, but I used to do my messages on like the family laptop. Like I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously one day I forgot to log out, so my mum just goes onto the laptop to see, and then she's like, oh, like what the is this? And when she said it, she was like, she saw everything. Like I left my homepage up, and I post pretty much everything on the feed, so she could just see oh God, it was just, and then she just came to me and I was like, yeah, not gonna lie, I'm doing this now. And she went like mad, went ballistic. Honestly, it took her a few months, but like she came around, and now, as you're saying, as long as you're safe, like it doesn't really matter. All my friends back in Ireland like didn't agree with that at all. But when I moved to the UK, then it's just mad how open-minded everyone is here. So much more normal. Like no one really did it back in Ireland at the time, so like everyone would just look down on me basically. But yeah, it's just nice here. No one really cares. So yeah.
Well, I still haven't told my family. I haven't told my family. I think with me, like I know my family wouldn't accept me as being gay anyway, so I was like, well, my life is kind of difficult in itself. Like I'm pretty much 80% sure I would be disowned. So I said to myself, well, if I really only gonna have myself, because for me, I wouldn't want to like, I guess why I'm doing this interview as well, I wouldn't want to sit somewhere and be around people who really don't love me for the real me. And I guess they never really got to know the real me because I never like told them of this. After this, I'm sure I have to tell them, right? But for me, it's like, I'm gonna be disowned anyway. I was like, let me look at my like options in life, what I want to do, how I want to go about it. So I was like, I'm definitely doing OnlyFans. Like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna stop myself from doing it just because like family members and like friends, for example, which I've lost like friends and family over it and stuff. But I'm not gonna let that get in the way of me like doing what I want to do, because I know this is something I want to do for a while. I think back in 2020 I did it for a month and I saw how much money I made in that 1 month, but then I chickened out because there's a lot of pressure, especially being a South Asian gay guy, and then my family's Muslim, so yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot, but you just gotta have the balls to do it really at the end of the day. And yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I made my choices, and I wouldn't be here if I wasn't like comfortable and proud of like what I do. And
when I first got into porn, I told my mum straight away, told my dad, etc., and everyone was kind of supportive and accepting. My mum's been to Las Vegas to the Porn Awards several times, and she fully embraces it. And yeah, so in terms of that, I've been incredibly lucky.
The next one I was going to say is, it's hard to maintain a romantic relationship as a sex worker.
Yeah, I think it's very like, it would take a very strong man that's not insecure to like be able to be okay with their girlfriend literally doing all this online, because, well, from my personal experiences, like I've had guys, you know, their friends would like slag them and they get a hard time, like being like, oh, your girlfriend's off doing this and that.
I think it's important to be honest with yourself and with your partner, and find someone who understands you as a person. At the end of the day, we do this because we love it. No one's forced us or coerced us to be here, and it's something, it's a part of us. And I think if you can be honest with your partner and communicate that this is you, if it's the right person for you, again, we're not saying it's easy. It's definitely a very challenging task to love someone in the adult industry and be with them. But it can be fruitful if you find the right person. But I would definitely agree, it's not an easy thing to achieve.
I think there's a part of it that makes it not easy, and that society makes it difficult for them. But I think that people, like sex workers who are dealing with people all the time, we have a lot of skills that a lot of other people don't. I kind of feel like I just tell people I'm a sex worker, and if you're not going to take that, there's like a really good filter to just push you aside.
I think we can't be blind to the fact that things change. The day that you meet someone, you may say, hey, I'm a sex worker, I'm a porn star, an OnlyFans girl, whatever it may be. And day one, someone may be fully okay with that and they might be open with it. But unfortunately, things change. And when you fall in love, if you can hit these markers, you know, the 6 months, the 12 months, the 18 months, they're big steps in a relationship.
They don't seem to be able to recognise the difference between like you and your job or you as a person. And I always say that it's the same as like if you go to Disneyland and you see Cinderella and they're like, you know, that's the real Cinderella. It's not an actress, it's the real one. And that's what it's like with yourself. And it's like, come on, it's a job. It's not like the whole of you. There's more to you than just your job.
Sex work has a shelf life.
Hell no.
Sex work
Has a shelf life.
Oh. A what?
I feel I get better. I feel that my skill set grows, you know, and you learn more about how people are, and you take less shit, and you get more successful faster when it comes to particular clients, and your skills just get better. So I don't really see the validity of that. And there's always a market for all sorts of different looks, all sorts of different ages, all sorts of different approaches. There's literally a market for pretty much anything.
Yeah. I know escorts that are 85 and still doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do it when I'm 100 if I get that far. Why not? If you're fit and you're able and people
Well, I
want
guess
it.
there is a physical aspect sometimes.
Well, this is it. Yeah. I mean, as long as I've still got my marbles and, you know, I can do the necessary, then why not?
I think thinking from a guy's perspective and from what I do, I mean, there is kind of a shelf life on what I do. Obviously, if my winky doesn't work, then I can't work. But as far as in terms of a shelf life, like you said, there is a niche for everything. Personally, if they'll wheel me out at 85, I'll be happy as Larry to keep going. But you know, I'm not blind to the fact that there is a kind of a shelf life for me anyway. But as adult or sex work as a whole, I believe, like you said, there is a niche for everything, and it doesn't necessarily mean the curtains close at 40, 50, 60 or whatever. I think you can adapt in this industry and change.
Yeah, it's a question I get all the time, like, oh, what are you going to do when you're old? Like, just be a MILF. And then,
Exactly.
I've just been inspired here, like.
You'll be 24 soon, then you're a MILF, don't worry.
Do you think that more people actually pay for sex, more people watch porn, more people have connection to sex industry in any of those ways than they admit?
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
People definitely pay for porn, pay for sex workers, whatever it may be, definitely contribute to the adult industry more than that is discussed about. And it's because it's an open topic, isn't it? It's something that you can easily talk about. You can easily talk about lots of things, but sort of getting into your niches and your kinks and your fetishes doesn't necessarily come out in the boys group too often, you know, to say, oh, when I met a lovely granny the other day, had a wonderful time thinking of marrying her, you know, it doesn't just normally come out, you know, whereas you can say, oh, I watched EastEnders the other night, that was great. But yeah, I find it's not a talked about thing, but at the end of the day, you just have to open your eyes. Look how many people are on OnlyFans, are stripping, are hooking. It's a big business.
There's not many people like me, especially not in the UK. Like, I don't think there's many like gay South Asian guys doing OnlyFans. So I get a good mix of it, and a lot of them are kind of like they really like me, like, because I guess it's hard, like almost like a rare thing to see. So I have the whole thing, but definitely a lot of other South Asian men, because I feel like sometimes with porn and stuff like that, right, like sometimes for them it's about like kind of seeing themselves or seeing someone they relate to in that kind of way, do you mean, or you know, someone they're, I guess, attracted to in that kind of way. So I've seen a lot of South Asian fans, basically. That's what majority of it is. But then, even in America, the USA guys, not so much the UK guys, but the USA guys, they love me. They eat me up. Like, it's so different than the UK.
I mean, I get all ages. Basically, the lower age is 18. That's what I regard as the lowest I'll go to. And the oldest is probably 80. So they're any age, any nationality. They come from all over the world. When they're in London, they'll contact me and say, I'm coming over to London in August. Could I come and see you? Yeah, no problem. They've all got a fantasy, you know, and they just want that fulfilled, which is quite often why they come. It's not because they just want sex, it's because they've got a fantasy, and whoever they're with either isn't willing to do that fantasy with them, so they need to go somewhere to find somebody who will. Are we all supposed to, are us ladies all supposed to fantasize all day and every day, like men do, or, you know, or they're all day and every day, you know, and fantasizing about who they want to meet and which granny they want to find to fulfill it. And one of the weirdest ones was asking me to the dog off. I mean, you know, you have to question, don't you, what's going on up there when that's what they want. No, it was give the dog a first. I tell it wrong. Give the job for £1,000, and then how much to the dog off. And I said there is no amount of money that you could pay me to the dog off. But if I had done it and done it well, I could have progressed to a horse. You know how. Where do they, you know, it just blows my mind, just thinking what's going on in their mind, you know.
I love how off topic you go. It's just gold.
I'd actually kind of relate to that. I had a guy,
Sorry?
I had a custom request, and he was like, oh, so how much are customs? I was telling the price. I was like, okay, so what's your request? He's like, I want this dildo, but yeah, it's a specific dildo. I was like, okay, like, no problem. Send me the link. And he's like, I'll pay for it, okay? So he sends me the link of the dildo, and it's a dog dildo. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm pretty open, but I think that might be stepping over a line.
I mean, these days, because of my price point, I mostly see rich white men. But when I first started, because, you know, the world is unfair and therefore a lot of money goes to white men, older white men. But when I first started, I started at like, I'm about 1,000 an hour now. I started at about 75 for half an hour when I first started, and the range was much more vast. And again, it's like from legal age to on the way out. So it's
Broad spectrum.
yeah, yeah.
I think the adult industry in whole is for that reason, isn't it? It's to fulfill the desires, you know, whether you are single, whether you're in a relationship, in a marriage, you might dream of a threesome, and the idea is you can now watch it and enjoy that moment, or you can pay for that moment and enjoy it. You know, I think the industry is dealing with that's what we kind of provide. We fulfill fantasies, and I think anyone kind of looking into our industry or participating, whether they're a viewer or a client or whatever, they have some itch that needs to be scratched, and that's kind of the service we provide in just different various formats.
And also the compartmentalization of it. Like sometimes I want that threesome, but I don't want all the trouble around.
100% is paying them to leave. You know, if you're married and you just want to have sex with someone and do a doggy position, your wife won't do it. It's not saying that that's right, but you know, that's the need, that's the itch that's scratched, I think.
And then the other people, of course, they're people who are actually in like relationships and stuff, straight relationships as well. So yeah, I mean, they're just a video of me, that's different than actually having basically like having a whole affair and stuff. I think it's just the easy option. It's just so much more direct than pay like what, $9.99 and just get your rocks off, whatever, and keep it moving.
Most of the sex workers have high sex drive and have a lot of sex in their personal life.
What was the last bit of that?
And have a lot of sex in their personal life too.
Oh, okay.
I've been celibate for the whole last year. I haven't had sex for about a year and a bit.
My name's Danny.
Nice to meet you.
Was that like a choice or?
No, it wasn't a choice. I did try to have sex with people, but they didn't want me. So yeah, it wasn't actually my choice. But then I was kind of proud of myself, like, wow, a year without sex.
Can I ask if you've also been like self-pleasuring?
Yeah, but just for work.
Oh, okay, just for work. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty active, to be fair. But like, you know, my OnlyFans, there's a lot of sex on there. Like, that's kind of what I do. So yeah, I would say high sex drive, personally.
I don't know whether I have or not. I keep getting asked, are you horny today? And I still, believe it or not, haven't worked out what it
Feels like
I'm supposed to feel like to be horny. I mean, no, I don't go around all day thinking, oh yeah, I need a you know. I mean, that's not my life. I mean, I enjoy sex.
Does it ever come to your mind? Like, oh, I would like to do that
Only
now?
when I'm with the person.
Oh, okay.
So I get turned on by, or not, by the person I'm with. And yes, I've had some lovely clients.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've gone, oh yeah, you know, open the door, oh gosh, come in, you know, welcome. How long can you stay?
What's your budget?
Yeah, exactly. How much have you got? So that's on the spur of the moment when I've met somebody. But because I'm also a swinger, I have another outlet for getting sex. I'm not in a relationship. I haven't been in a relationship for donkey's years. But I enjoy the swinging, and I have got a group of friends who I have sex with, you know, and we go to the clubs and I enjoy that side of it. So I've got that outlet as well, but I'm not sitting there all day thinking, I want to have sex with somebody, you know. So, but when I'm either having a client or going to a club, then yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think initially I was very into sex. I had quite a high sex drive. Obviously for the drive to try and want to join the adult industry. But I think as I've kind of got older, and I still have a high sex drive, still have a lot of sex, but I definitely now have a difference between work sex and home sex. I feel when I first started in the industry, I couldn't really tell the difference. I was just having sex and having fun and enjoying all of it. And now I'm kind of very understanding of this is work sex, and I have to perform and showcase a talent and make her look as best as I can, whereas at home I can kiss and cuddle and close up and wrap the legs around and do all things that I necessarily can't do at home. Yeah. So I definitely now appreciate the difference between the two, and I definitely enjoy home sex now more than I do work sex. Whereas when I was a bit younger, I was getting sex, I was happy, that was it. So I think now, just with the experience of more sexual experiences, I'm able to sort of realise what I really enjoy and what I can sort of focus more time on.
For me, I think things have changed. Like now I don't really have sex unless it's like for work. Like for me, of course, it's like there's preparation and there's effort to really put into me like having sex with somebody. So I'm like, if I'm gonna have sex, I might as well video it. And if they're not cool with videoing it and stuff, I'm just like, well, this is not really worth my time. Like I'm already having sex with you. Like at least let me get something else. Like let me get some content out of this. Do you know what I mean? So. But it might change in the future.
I was going to say, I did that and lived that, and I felt that it became detrimental because you kind of like, especially with like OnlyFans and things like that, it was like, I just missed the point that I couldn't have a like, I just want to have a on my own, and it was like, oh, no, hang on, get the ring light, okay, right, lube, everyone ready? Whereas actually, I just want to like get out of the shower, have a the fans, you know, this is for me, not you. And it got to that thing that every time I was having sex, oh, well, right, here's the right, here comes the, and it kind of lost the fun. And as I say, I think through time, that's where I've learned the difference between work sex and home sex, and it is really important just to make time for you and your partner or yourself, whatever, but have sex for you as well, not just the camera. You can blur the line between performance and personal. You know.
You burn out that way. Yeah, a little bit of separation every, take a weekend. It doesn't have to be on the weekend, but you need to take some time out.
For me, like, to be honest, I prefer the solo stuff. Like, I'm somebody who enjoys showing off, like, more than just the collabs and stuff. Like, we like showing off. That's why sometimes I like to watch my own stuff, like, on camera, do you know what I mean? So, in some way, it makes it more fun for me that way. And then I feel like, because there's the camera watching me, I kind of perform better too. It's like, my motivation behind going from it's like, oh, like everyone's watching me, I better look hot, I better do like how I want to do it, and like, yeah, I guess that's the fun part for me.
I think that's great, and if that's how you enjoy it and experience it, awesome. And the day that flips and you feel pressure that you've got to look sexy and you've got to be hot and you've got to be what they want, that's when the dynamic changes.
OnlyFans has completely changed the sex industry.
I like it.
True.
What do you think? Is that true or not?
True. Very true. OnlyFans has completely changed the adult industry. From my side of it anyway, from production terms, it used to be production companies, very professional companies. You'd have to work really hard to get a cast in or to even get someone to give you a shot, especially as male talent. If they're paying all this money out for crews, locations, girls, talents, testing, etc., the chance of risking it on a new guy was very, very dubious. But now you can literally go on Twitter, create a OnlyFans page, get some collabs in and create a show reel with 10 girls, then put that to a producer or something.
I think it's cool as well, because like before I did OnlyFans, like I was going to do porn, but then I found out about the site and I just thought it was so cool the way like you can make your own unique site, like own like niche, own videos the way you want to make them, kind of like amateur content, which I feel like lots of guys prefer to see like real content more though, instead like set up cameras, like my actual life, like my actual sex life, like I'm recording. So it's like the inside almost to just a normal girl, like a normal student, but then she has this OnlyFans where it's like you can look in and see a different side. So I feel like people like that kind of personal aspect.
Definitely.
And you've got more control.
Yeah, exactly.
Haven't you, with that, I mean, you can do, obviously within the rules of the site, but basically you can do as much as you want.
You set your own limits.
And set your own limits, there's just so much more that you can do
Some
as an
people
individual.
Go all out, Some people don't even do explicit, then there's some people having like threesomes, foursomes, orgies, like it's completely on your terms.
I love how I'm like fully independent about that. Like there's no one, there's no middleman, there's like no one telling me what to do, whatever. Like I never feel like pressured to do, like people have requests and stuff, but like it's all up to me at the end of the day. Like there's no one like breathing down, like I've got no boss, do you know what I mean? Like it's just, it all like comes to me, like through me, like it's my decision. So that's what I love about it. I don't feel scared or like, or uncomfortable in any situation with OnlyFans.
What advice would you give someone who's just starting in the industry?
My advice to anyone looking at embarking in the adult industry is give it consideration. It's not something that you rush into. It's not something that you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow and I need to be the best. I think you need to think about it wholeheartedly, the implications that become of that, not only for yourself, but your family, your friends, what you might want to do later on in life. It doesn't necessarily equate to how you feel in this moment. And I think just being very aware of what you're getting into, it does have a lasting impact on your life, not necessarily a negative one, but it is something that you will have to deal with forever. And I think just that's something that we're not necessarily made aware of. I think the glitz and the glamour of earning X amount a month on OnlyFans, or living the life where you don't have to stack shelves, or whatever the reason may be, sounds very endearing. But as I say, once you actually get into all of our personal experiences that we've all had within working in this field, it's something that isn't clearly explained to you. And it's not a reason to avoid it, but it's something that you should definitely be aware of that's involved within it.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I'm like, do your research, because it's like the real world. Only 1% of us make that large amount of money. There is still all of those people doing sex work who are struggling. And people outside don't see that. They think like, oh, sex work, I'm going to earn loads of money. Actually, loads of people doing it struggling. I'm very fortunate. All of my friends, they are struggling. They do not sometimes they don't have enough money for their rent, but they're still doing sex work because they love it. So you have to think about it like rationally and like research it a lot.
Yeah, I feel like people start it a lot of the time for like the wrong reasons, because they want quick cash. They don't actually see the other sides of it. Like, you do have to love it, you have to want to do it. And not just that, like obviously the money's great, but there's gonna be like a lot of hate. Like the hate we get is like crazy. You have to be able to just take it. I feel like people don't realise it's not just all, as you said, glitz and glam, like there's more to it.
I think one of the biggest things is, and it is a negative, is that you really need to think about the effect on your life with regard to jobs, etc. Because once you're out there on the internet, you're out there and you can't take it back. Think about what you want to do in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time. Do you want a family? All of those things you need to think about, and then make your decision, and make the decision that you believe is right for you.